What is going on, SHIB Army? It is Ahmed, and I am back today with yet another video for you all. And today, guys, we're going to be talking about Shiba Inu, the global cryptocurrency market, Shibarium, as well as FOMC meeting minutes that were just released today. Now, remember, as always, I like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor, just putting you guys on the plays that I'm in. And if you are new around here, it would mean the world to me if you'd consider smashing the like button down below and also subscribing to the channel. So let's go ahead and dive into the crypto market. It's still undergoing what seems to be a very slight correction. Bitcoin breaking below 24,000 for the first time in a few days. But we see here that we did break support, but holding strong at the 23.7 mark. So right now we're at 23,788 or $23,787, where we found support previously about 5 days ago on both February 16th and the 17th. So we're hoping that we hold here at these higher lows, which gets us prepared for what is to come, and hopefully that's more positive direction for the global crypto market. Same for Ethereum, and the story continues also for Shiba Inu, down 7% on the week at 12,740 satoshis, as we are still anticipating Shibarium's launch this week. So let's go ahead and dive in, because what I want to look at is some of the other things that maybe some of us aren't paying attention to. Lastly, for price action, Bone is currently sitting at $1.84, still up pretty high from our $1.50 entry point. So again, hoping that we continue to see success coming towards crypto as volume returns. But there are some things that maybe gave us a little bit of breaks. So first and foremost, QQQ, or the NASDAQ, is also down about 0.25% today. So after the Fed meeting minutes came out, and here's an article directly from Reuters, and it says almost all the Fed officials favored a 25 basis point rate hike at the last meeting minutes. At the last meeting, says the meeting minutes. So you can see a solid majority of the Federal Reserve official agreed that their last policy meeting to slow the pace of increases in the United States Central Bank's benchmark overnight interest rates to 0.25 percentage point or 25 basis points, but also said the risks of high inflation remaining a key factor shaping monetary policy and warranted continued hikes in borrowing costs until it was controlled. So the big thing that we need to understand is, with Jerome Powell being the head and chairman of the Federal Reserve, he is what we call a very hawkish individual, meaning he will do anything and nothing will stand in his way to curb inflation. The benchmark and the goal is 2%. We know CPI has been all the way up to 8.5, almost 9% here in the US, but it's starting to curve down as they've been increasing interest rates in the markets. So when I say this, I mean mortgages and things of that nature, and to take loans from bank to bank and things of that nature. We know that interest rates have been ongoing and increase ever since basically 2021. But what we need to understand is, what does this mean for crypto and what does this mean for other markets? Here are the highlights. Global debt sees the first annual drop since 2015, positive. Toronto stocks seen a 6.2% by year end despite a wall of worry. And then markets bracing for no landing, world economy scenario, curb risk appetite. And then Bullard calls on Fed to get inflation under control this year. Now, it's been back and forth, but the big things that we need to make sure we're all understanding is what happens in terms of recession risk. And hopefully this video isn't too boring, because I think, again, the importance of understanding the macroeconomic environment will determine the short-term success for crypto. Some policymakers at the meeting noted that there still remains an elevated risk for a recession. In my opinion, we're already in a recession, and this was ever since 2022 GDP data was released in the United States. This year, as the Fed continues its battle to quash inflation that had soared over a 40-year high in 2022. The central bank has raised its policy rate over 8 meetings, from a standard point near zero last March to the current 4.5 to 4.75%, bringing down demand, hopefully cools off the economy, which again lets supply come back to a norm, where now the supply and demand curve are at least somewhere in the middle, because right now we know there's way too high of demand and not enough supply to meet the average person's necessities. And I'm talking from pretty much all industries, from getting a house, purchasing real estate. If that means anything else, the fact is just demand is way too high. And so again, for us as Shiba Inu token holders, this is important to make sure that we're staying at least up to date with this kind of information. But we also need to understand, sentiment. So fundamental analysis versus technical analysis, right? TA is important. Looking at things from a macroeconomic environment is also very crucial. But again, in my opinion, the most important thing here is what is happening to our foundational and sentimental analysis. So from a sentiment standpoint, right now we know Satoshi is still on fire and on schedule. So that means Shibarium is still to be released. Today's Wednesday. Anytime this week, could be today, could be tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, or even Sunday. So as I always like to say, be prepared, not surprised for what is to come. And remember, I'll say this 100 times over. When everybody else panics, that is the time to pounce and hopefully find interest in whatever cryptocurrency you want to establish positions in. Take other people's fear, because Warren Buffett's quote, and I think this is the thing that I always stand by, is when people are fearful, that's the time to get greedy. But of course, when people are getting too greedy, that is a time to start getting fearful. Appreciate your support as always. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Check out the links down below for Mumu, where you can now get 17 free stocks with a limited time offer in the description below. And also the Quintessential Millennial channel, where we talk about side hustles and supplementing your income. That's all I had for you today. And until next time, everybody, as always, keep investing. Peace.